Okay, we are back with another edition of the Missyae show. This week, our special guest is Angie Layton. How are you doing, Angie?
I'm so good, thank you.
Good. You are a very, very busy young lady, aren't you?
I'm so busy, but it's a good thing. I hate it, but I love it.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, you got a whole lot of stuff going on, and we're going to get into a little bit of all of it. But let's first start out. We always start out talking about the current season of Survivor, and the biggest topic so far this season has been all of what went down with Philip and Brandon and how it affected some of the ladies. How do you think you would have handled that if you had been out there and you've got this guy running around like a lunatic, threatening to throw away all your food supplies and hide your machetes and your little tools you got and all that stuff? Would you have tried to get involved and maybe calm him down or what?
No, that's not my personality. I'd probably take a step back, obviously, and try my hardest to get him out. I wouldn't want someone like that on my tribe. I wouldn't want to be friends with someone like that. I mean, I don't know. It's weird to me that he would even stoop that low. But I would want nothing to do with him, and I would want him out ASAP.
So you would have been on the bandwagon like their tribe did when they showed up at the immunity challenge and just wanted to throw it and get rid of him. I mean, because it affected some of the girls differently. The men, of course, they weren't as bad, but it upset Andrea and Dawn a lot to where they were in tears.
Yeah.
It's
hard
scary.
when you're out there and you don't have food and you don't have your family, you don't have anything comforting, and then you have this person doing things like that. Like, it's so much more intense. I can't even imagine. I'd probably be crying too.
Yeah. Even
though I try not to cry, but I probably would too. I don't know.
Yeah. And you spent some time with Malcolm when you played, and he's on this season, of course. He's found another idol. They've just made the merge, so now he's made merge back to back. What is it about him that makes him a good player?
He's really good in challenges, and he's good socially. He's likable. He's a likable guy. Yeah, those two combinations are great in Survivor. So.
Yeah, and it helps to always have an idol in your pocket.
Yeah, he's really good at finding idols too. So,
hey,
combination of things.
When he on your season, when they had that idol, were you aware of it? Did he ever tell you, "Look, I got an idol"?
No, he got the idol after I was voted out.
Oh, that's right. Well, do you think he would have let you in on it? Were you that close with him?
No, I know he wouldn't have. I'm sure him and Denise would tell Denise, but I'm pretty sure he wouldn't tell me anything.
Well, that's just another asset of his. That's what makes him a pretty good player. He had someone like you that he was really, really close to, but I
told him everything.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He was really strategic with what he would say to who,
Yeah, he was.
I don't know. You never know.
He was playing the game from day one. It sounds like.
Yeah, he was.
So, what about the action and all the fun and stuff you guys had at Ponderosa? I know you like to drove Russ Swan nuts out there because he just didn't quite fit in with your younger crowd.
It was tough because he got voted out. He was a returning player and he got out before the merge, and so it's really hard for him. I felt bad because he came out and there was all these young, fun kids, and there was no one really his age to kind of hang out with.
Right.
So he was kind of bitter that way, and obviously he didn't want to get voted out, and he loves Survivor. But we just kind of tuned him out. I mean, we were super nice to him. He was nice. He was cordial, but he didn't want to be there. He just wanted to go home. But we had a great time. All the young people, it was fun.
You had
one of the best trips ever.
Yeah, you had you and Katie. You had Dawson. You had Roxy. You had Zane. That's five young people that are out there having the time of their lives.
Yeah, it was super fun. I mean, towards the end, I was like, all right, I'm ready to go home. But
and I forgot Dana. Dana was there too. Yeah. at Ponderosa, of course you had fun there, but didn't you guys, you had a little trip, where was it, Malaysia or somewhere that you got to go on?
Yeah. So after Katie got voted out, she was the last one to come out.
Right.
And the next day we flew to Malaysia, and we traveled around. We went sightseeing. We white water rafted. We did so many fun things. It was intense. It was fun.
That's neat. Are you still in touch? Are you still in touch with many of those people now?
I still talk to Dawson here and there, and Zane and Katie. That's about it. Me and Katie are like best friends. I love her.
Yeah, you both of you kind of had similar backgrounds with the pageants and stuff like that, and then being cast together.
Yeah, we did.
So, I mean, it makes sense you're still friends. What about you now? The pageants, you've done that. Is there anything else in the future there?
Well, pageants, yes. I did Miss Utah Teen. So I did like the teen pageant, and now I'm going to do the Miss coming this year. So this October, I'm going to do Miss Utah USA. That's my goal. So that's my last pageant that I'm going to be doing. And yeah.
Now those, I've heard from other people that if you want to see some cutthroat, you want to see some backstabbing, you get behind the scenes at these beauty pageants.
You enter a pageant, you'll see it. Some girls, I mean, it's hard to explain, but like you got all sorts of types of girls. You have the ones that are cutthroat that legit will cut your dress if they want to win.
Wow.
And then you have the sweet Southern girls. Just like, I don't know. It's kind of like Survivor. You never know what you're gonna get. Just different types of girls and everything. But for the majority, like, all of them are very sweet and very kind.
Now, you mean there could actually be contestants, other girls in the back that would sabotage your wardrobe?
I've heard of stories. Personally, it's never happened to me, and I've never been around it. But I've heard stories of girls doing that. They want to win. They want that crown. I don't know.
Well, all right, now, when you compete in this next one, if you were somehow to win that, would that catapult you into like the Miss USA or something like that?
Yes. So if I won Miss Utah USA this year, I would go to Miss USA next June.
Now that's the one. Is that the one that Donald Trump owns and kind of oversees?
Yeah. Yes. It's the USA pageant. It's more like a beauty pageant rather than like the American system.
Wow. So I mean,
yeah.
This could be good for you.
Yeah, definitely. It opens up so many doors.
Yeah.
Really good.
Now you were kind of getting into a lot of other things before you even, went on Survivor. And of course, Survivor helps to open more doors. But it's like today, I saw something from you about being a spokesperson.
Yes, I just signed a contract with eSupplements. I'm their new head spokes model. So I'm really excited about that. So I'm going to be all over YouTube and doing eSupplement reviews and things. It's what eSupplements is. It's just like a weight loss supplement business, basically a company online. So I just talk about the supplements, and I don't know. It's really fun. I absolutely love being in front of the camera and talking. So I'm really excited for it.
Yeah, you're pretty comfortable with being in front of the camera. You can tell, with your all the different photo shoots and things like that, you're pretty comfortable with it.
Yeah.
Wasn't there, you just got through with some kind of modeling campaign too. I saw a lot of pictures with some really, really pretty dresses and a couple other girls.
Yeah.
What was that?
So I model for a company called Modern Vintage Boutique. It's just a boutique. It's an online boutique. It's based out of Utah. They have a big warehouse in Utah. So I model all of their new lines. I just did their spring line, and they just got some new inventory in last week, so I did a photo shoot for them. I've just been doing all of their stuff, and it's so fun because they are the cutest clothes ever. I love them.
Yeah, they were real cute. They looked, I'm a guy, so I don't know, but they looked real springy. They were like fresh colors. It all looked. It's nice looking stuff.
Yeah. Very
how do you juggle all this stuff?
Honestly, I ask myself this question
because I know you're still taking classes too.
Yep, I'm going to school full time right now too, so I juggle it in between.
Well, there's a lot of beauty pageant girls or models, whatever you want to call them. They kind of get a bad rap because everybody thinks, well, they don't have to work. All they got to do is sit there and look pretty. But you're out there.
It's hard work, I promise.
Yeah, and you're out there busting your butt.
It takes guts to sit in front of a camera and talk and model, and it's not easy.
Yeah. Now, when you got back from the Philippines, didn't you do some kind of a shoot with RC and Katie down in Miami, I think?
Yes, we did. We we were going to do a calendar. We just did a swimsuit. We just did the whole swimsuit photo shoot. So we got some cool pictures from that, which was great, but the calendar just didn't work out.
Oh.
Yeah.
What do you think about the online contest they have for the Miss Survivor? This year's final three, they had Kim and Chelsea, both from Survivor One World, and RC from your season. What do you think about that whole online thing, picking a Miss Survivor?
I mean, it's up to... Personally, I don't know. I was so busy. I didn't even, really know about that. Didn't campaign for it or anything. I mean, it's cool. It's fun for the fans, and it's fun for the girls, too. It's awesome for them. But personally, I don't know. I don't really care, I guess. I don't know. It's an online thing.
One of the things I've noticed, of course, I'm friends with a lot of survivors. And I see a lot of what they tweet, a lot of what they post on Facebook, and how they talk about themselves. There's a lot of survivors that are really out there promoting or pimping themselves every day about this or that. But even during that Miss Survivor thing, you're not the type that you're out there kind of begging for votes and this and that, are you?
Yeah, I'm just not that type of person. I'm never, if people like me, that's awesome. But I'm not going to go out of my way to be like, you need to vote for me. If they want to vote for me, that's awesome. But I just don't feel comfortable, saying, vote for me, because, I don't know, I have my own life going on. I'm doing things with my life, and Survivor was an amazing experience, but I don't live it. I don't live through it every day,
Right. Now, on the modeling subject again, it was about not quite a year ago. It was the end of last summer. Didn't you had some kind of thing you had to go to Chicago for?
Yeah, I modeled for Sherry Hill, so she's a dress designer. She's amazing. She does all the Miss USA. She's Miss USA sponsor, so she does pageant wear and prom and weddings. So she does all that. So I go to all of her markets. She flies me out to all over the United States. I'm actually going in 2 weeks to model in Atlanta. And I just do all of her new line and anything that she needs me for. I'm always flying to do it for her. So it's been really fun, and I'm excited for Atlanta in 2 weeks.
Yeah, Atlanta's a nice city. It's a lot of stuff to do there too. So, what about later on down the line? Maybe can you parlay this into maybe getting some acting roles or something like that?
Maybe. I've never really tried acting. I would love to. I've just never really gotten the opportunity, especially here in Utah, because Utah really sucks for this industry. I don't know, especially for acting. But I would love to do it someday down the road. I think it would be just a fun experience and just, kind of just test it out and see how I do.
Yeah, what about locally there? Have you been involved in commercials and things like that? So you're used to kind of being involved with the camera like that?
Mm-hmm. No commercials or any acting, really. I do a lot of spokesmodel jobs. Aside from eSupplements, what I just signed with, I've done a lot for this website, Talking Heads. So I do a lot of online commercials for websites. So I do that. I'm doing that constantly, like 3 times a week, which is super, super fun. I love that. But it's a little different from, like, TV commercial.
Okay. All right, listen.
I enjoy it.
We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back with part 2 with Angie. And on part 2, we are going to talk about cookies, and we're going to talk about Jeff Probst, and we're going to talk about if she would go back on Survivor, and a few more things. So we'll be right back with part 2. All right, we are back with part 2 of this week's Missyae show with our special guest, Angie Layton. And we cannot do this, Angie, without talking about cookies. You know we have to bring that up. I know this answer already because I've seen you answer it, I bet, 25 times. What is your favorite cookie?
My favorite cookie is oatmeal chocolate chip. It's amazing. I love it.
All right. Now let's go back to that tribal council because there's
no.
you know, I mean, most fans know that tribal council, when it happens, can last anywhere from an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, and then they edit it down to where you're only seeing like 10 or 12 minutes on TV. So that night when that happened, a lot went on. First of all, what do you say to the fans that kind of saw it as, well, she's not really into this if she's up there thinking she's going to want cookies? I mean, what went into all of that with your answer to Jeff about the cookies?
It was strategy, okay? Well, it was an honest answer. Obviously, I wanted cookies. I mean, who wouldn't want cookies? You're stranded on an island. You have no food. I was thinking about cookies a lot, but it was strategy, and I'll explain why.
All right.
When Jeff asked Roxy what she would change, I remember sitting there and thinking, okay, this girl is like giving a negative answer. She's looking like a bee on TV.
All right.
I'm like, okay. So then he asks me, and I knew I was safe. I knew I was not going home. My alliance, we knew it was Roxy, no matter what. I just wanted to get out of tribal council. So when he asked me what's one thing I would change about the tribe, obviously, I wanted to say we would start winning challenges. And I wanted to talk about Russell because he was bothering me. And I wanted to talk about Roxy. You know, and I could have, and I thought in my head I could have, but then at that same time, why hurt someone's feelings or put down the tribe when I'm going to still be in the tribe? I don't want to put a target on my back. I don't want anyone to have hard feelings towards me. So I just said, well, we could have cookies. I mean, come on, make a joke out of it. Why not?
Right.
An honest answer, yes. But, you know, it's better than putting someone down when I don't need to, when I know I'm safe and Roxy's going home. So after I said that, it was kind of a joke at first. After I said that, I just owned it, you know? And then Jeff, he, like, looked at me, and I was about to say something else, and he winked. He winked at me like, we're going to expound on this a little bit.
Okay.
So after that, I knew I was safe, and I was like, yeah, thank you.
Right.
That's exactly how it happened.
So that's kind of...
after he winked at me, I knew I was safe. I was like...
Right. That was kind of... I think that was kind of Jeff's way of saying, I got this. Just hang tight. This is going to work
Yeah,
out.
he loved that answer. Come on. He did. He really did.
Right. All right. Now, let's fast forward from that moment to the tribal council when you left. I mean, of course, after you leave, we don't see a lot of the stuff with the pre-jury. So tell everybody the story about the night you left and what happened with Jeff.
Okay, so the night that I was voted out, obviously it was just a bad tribal council. It was sad. I never cry, and Russell made me cry a little bit. And he was just putting me down and putting me down and putting me down. I'm trying to be like this little fighter and trying to be like, I got it's fine, like you choose me, I think Jeff saw that, like he kind of felt a little bad. But anyways, after I voted out, I was fine. I was like, okay, good luck, guys. And I went out and I went down to the tent where we wait.
Yeah.
And Jeff came after me. And he gave me a hug, and he told me that I have my head on my shoulders, that I'm a great girl, not to let this get me down, and that they pushed me really, really hard in the tribal council. And just that I have a great future ahead of me, and he was really, really proud of me, and I proved him wrong. And before he left, he gave me another hug. So I was so happy. That was like the cherry on top of my Survivor experience, and that's why in my goodbye video I was just so appreciative, and I said, this is just a great experience. I left feeling happy and fulfilled. Like, even though I obviously wanted to stay in there,
right,
in the game longer, Jeff just, I don't know, it ended everything very well for him to come out and like hug me and tell me that. It was really awesome.
Yeah,
he's really such a sweet guy, and everyone's like, well, he was picking on you. I'm like, yeah, we all don't know the whole story.
Right.
So, yeah, it was a good experience.
And and he has a job to do. I mean, he has to bring out stuff. He has to go for ratings. He has to try to point out certain things.
Yeah, and I'm aware of that, and
right.
I knew what I was signing up for. So.
But the thing is, Jeff doesn't do that very often, so that's a huge compliment to you for him to have done that.
Yeah, it really meant a lot to me.
Yeah, and you, of course, you had to fight the whole stereotype of being, the young hottie out there. The first thing fans say when they see the cast pictures of the new cast when they see you is, well, there's the blonde bimbo. She'll last a week and be done. So you had to fight all of that, and Jeff knows that, and he knew you were fighting that, and he knew when it aired you would have to fight that. So he gets a lot of criticism, and a lot of it he deserves, but that's a real good moment for Jeff to have done that.
Yeah, it was for sure.
So, leaving like that, with that experience out there, I ask this to everybody, so I'll ask you, if it worked out right for you, timing-wise, with your other things you got going on, would you want to go play again?
Of course, I would. Of course. I mean, I'd be stupid not to.
Yeah. In your time out there, did you learn anything or figure out anything from your gameplay and watching others that you might it would be advantageous to you next time you played?
Oh my gosh, yes. If I could go back, I would know what everyone is talking about, what everyone is thinking, feeling, doing. I was oblivious, to Roxy and to Russell. I just kind of stayed in my little alliance and just worried about us, me and Denise and Malcolm.
Yeah.
Really, think anything about Roxy. I didn't even know she wanted me out. I didn't know she had a problem with me until I was watching. I'm like, wow. If I could go back, I would know exactly what everyone's thinking. I would be talking to everyone and just strategizing more.
Right.
You know, that's why I'm like, I want to go back so I can redo it. But
and you were, you know, if memory serves me right, you were pretty tough in the challenges too. There were some challenges where you were asked to do twice of what Russell was doing.
I know. I mean, I was up there with the guys on the first when we were running with the sled. I was going up with the guys. You know, it was hard because I was pushed into the strength role. Yeah. And I'm just like this little girl. I mean, I think I'm pretty tough, but obviously compared to those big guys, you know, it's hard.
Yeah, it was.
And I was pushed into a role that I'm not very good at, but I tried. You know.
Yeah, I think in all honesty, with your tribe at challenges, I don't think it was the fact that you didn't have strong enough people or skilled enough people. I think the strategy going into the challenges is what killed you guys at times. You didn't approach it. You didn't put your key people in the key spots.
Mhm. And from the first challenge, it kind of just like screwed us all up. I feel like because we were all put in the wrong positions from the first challenge. Yeah. So that challenge was a bad deal, and I feel like it kind of like threw our game off. Yeah. You know, we were there and we're like, oh, we're gonna win for sure. First challenge, I'm like, no doubt in my mind that we'll lose. And then he put me in puzzles. I'm like, yep, we're not. Hopefully there's a prayer somewhere. But
yeah. What do you miss the most? Not players, not people, but what do you miss the most about being out there?
Oh my gosh, I miss the rice. I'm not even kidding.
Really?
After I got voted out, it's the weirdest thing. I know. After I got voted out, I was craving rice and like coconut. It was weird. And I was eating normal food. You know, I got my cookies, I got my Doritos, I got all the food. But I was like, I'm kind of craving my rice. Like, where's it at?
Eat more rice. Yeah. I'll have to tell. There's another survivor named Cowboy. He loves talking about people eating rice. I'm gonna have to tell him that there's actually a player that came home wanting more rice.
I know, it's weird, and I was like missing the little shells that we ate it in and everything.
All right, I'm gonna let people laugh at me a little bit now, because people don't get over on me very often, and you got me on April Fool's Day, and nobody else did. So go ahead and brag right now and let everybody know how you got me on April Fool's Day.
Okay, so last night when I was in class, I was like, April Fool's, what should I do? So I tweeted that I was going for net. And a million people were like, no, why, no. And I was like, oh my gosh. So then a couple hours later, I tweeted April Fool's, Blondie forever. I'm really not going brunette. I will never go brunette. Maybe one day, but probably not. I'm a blondie. That's just who I am.
Yeah, I remember when I saw that. The first thing I started thinking about was all the different things you had going on, like with the modeling and the pageants and all this and that. First thing in my head was, no, don't do this. Is a mistake. So I immediately sent you a DM saying, no, don't do this. And then a little bit later, you come back and say April Fool's, and I felt like,
oh yeah, I was getting phone calls and texts, and people were like, are you really? Like, why? Like, what? And I'm like, April Fool's, come on, really?
But that was a good one. It wasn't too elaborate. It was something that was believable. So you picked a good one. See, you are a smart cookie.
I am.
All right. Well, that is just about all the time we have, and
okay.
I hope everything you're getting involved in, I know you're going to do good at it, but just every once in a while, just take a few minutes and kick back and just enjoy it.
Definitely, I will. Thank you so much.
All right. We will talk to you later, Angie.
Okay, sounds good.